Today we're looking at another Elven matchup, and as you can tell by these Dragon Princes, it's the haughty High Elves. My opponent today is the legendary Falcon. It's going to be a tough opponent for sure. Let's take a look at what he's got against my Chaos Dwarfs. Lithnar leading the way, very bold choice, but I kind of like it. He's got triple bolt throwers, which definitely makes sense. Lithnar is essentially like a fourth single entity bolt thrower, so it's pretty good. Lord of Metal Mage here, with probably Plague of Rust, Searing Doom. No, just Final Transmutation. Very interesting. He's got tons of Lothern Seaguard, a couple of Spearmen on the flanks, and then the Dragon Princes, two of them. Yeah, that's basically it. Lots of Lothern Seaguards, which is obviously very strong. I've got a Magma Cannon, Jatan the Black leading the way up in the sky. We've got a bunch of Wolf Raiders here, a couple of Bull Centaurs, one Great Weapon, and the Regiment of Renown with their dual throwing axes. Orc and Goblin Laborers, and the Regiment of Renown, Chaos Dwarf Warriors in the center. I've also got Lore of Metal here, Demon Smith, this time with Searing Doom and Final Transmutation. Let's see how it goes. So, right off the bat, I'm going to try and get my cavalry in, sort of this back line to start to disrupt these archers and the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. Gorda's also, which I have brought, comes forward and is going to try and get at Lithnar. I didn't bring any of Gorda's abilities, though, so he's not going to be crazy effective at sniping Lithnar. Lithnar's stats are good enough that he's not as effective at killing him as I would have hoped. As the battle plays out, you will see that occur. But Dragon Princes are obviously going to be very dangerous. Their fire resistance did get nerfed, but even still, the physical plus fire resistance is at 45%. So, like, even these grenades, right? They technically count as physical fire damage. So, one volley is almost a quarter HP there off of the Dragon Princes, which is pretty impressive considering those resistances, but also goes to show, like, you compare that throwing those things into, a non-physical, non-fire resist heavy cavalry like, Empire Knights or something. Notice the difference. A little bit of Searing Doom there to disrupt those Lothern Sea Guards, and Laborers get overextended and rear charge, absolutely crushed by Dragon Princes. Even Jatan fighting the Dragon Princes in melee because his... Oh no, I've got him on the Lamasu, that's right. I specifically took him on the Lamasu so that he would not have fire damage. Tyrion still has very heavy fire resistance and is an insane duelist, so it's pretty scared of him in this matchup after, playing my patron Rider of Rohan so much. I know how powerful he can be. But we're going to throw a big Final Transmutation here on these Dragon Princes. I've been just trying to bog them down with Laborers and hit them with magic, primarily, is my way of dealing with them. I'm also pretty badly mismicroing my Bull Centaurs. I really should just double charge this Lothern Seaguard rather than getting shot by them. It's super inefficient damage I'm taking right there. And the Bull Centaurs 2v1 would absolutely crush those Lothern Seaguards. Another one just got hit by the grenades there, which is very impressive. But Magma Cannon did get shot up pretty heavily by the Bolt Throwers, but will be coming back in and contributing some damage from long range there. But mostly my focus is still on trying to kill off the Dragon Princes. Jatan also just kind of fighting these Spearmen ineffectually. Should really be maneuvering him around and trying to die different areas, but right now he's just kind of fighting in that one location. I'm microing these Bull Centaurs a lot, but not actually doing very much with them. But anyway, at least the Magma Cannon's here to detonate some Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower crews, and we managed to get a net Searing Doom here on these Dragon Princes. The Orc Laborers are also going to move in, a unit that I kind of had in reserve. Definitely did not forget about them. But any Dragon Prince model that gets dragged down by these guys is a huge win for me. Wow, look at those gigantic clubs. I don't know if I ever actually looked at these guys up close before. Pretty impressive stuff. That armor-piercing damage is definitely coming through on those Dragon Princes. This is such an efficient engagement for me. But then this other unit here, Jatan, again, just continuously fighting spears. Big mistake by me. But enfeebling foe on those Dragon Princes as they maneuver to block the Hobgoblins, push them away, keep them out of this backline. Falcon did a great job of just resisting my light cavalry, and they were almost completely ineffective, especially given their cost and how expensive they are. But Magma Cannon should be a little bit more effective, and these Dark Ravagers, despite how much damage they've taken, are still outputting some pretty nice damage as well. Oh man, did some friendly fire on Gordas right there, but a little Final Transmutation on the Great Weapons. I should have had these guys over on the other side so they could be fighting the Dragon Princes the whole time. But a lot of shouldas in this playing against a great player like Falcon, you really can't afford to make too many mistakes. But finally, I do get them through onto the Dragon Princes, timed with a nice Searing Doom. This should be able to finish them off, at least rout them. Yeah, the unit instantly gets terrified. So let's see if I can recover Jatan, although Elithnar's still on the field. Gets a nice... Ooh, is that new VFX on that? On his little moonbow there? That was pretty good. He's also accurate enough that he can keep hitting, and Gortys is attacking him, but not preventing him from actually shooting his bow, which is hilarious. Okay, there we go. And now Elithnar turns to fight Gortys, and I mean, Gortys has done some damage to him. He's stuck around a surprising amount of time. The Ashut Stark Ravagers also, once they get through, again, this is why I say I should have probably just charged the Lothern Seaguard a little earlier, because they are such a strong unit in melee against infantry. Probably could have shut them down with the Bull Centaurs working together, but anyway, let's focus on the task at hand. I'm going to try and keep fighting here. The Magma Cannon's about to get shut down by the Dragon Princes, but it still came back and paid for itself despite taking so much early damage, and I do have the Blazing Beards here as well. So maybe we can snipe Elithnar also, kind of using the Dark Ravagers right now with Gortys to try and snipe him, but that's allowing them to take focus fire from the bows. Bolt Thrower also gets online, and it's probably going to finish sniping Jatan. Let's see, is that the final shot? Oof, swing and a miss there. Yeah, I mean, the balance of power is still showing reasonably decent for me, although I'm definitely not feeling it at all. I guess it's mostly just because the caster is still quite healthy for me. Demon Smith here and the Bull Centaurs also are fighting. I mean, certainly the ROR with their extra leadership will hang around for an alarming amount of time. Probably still end up paying for themselves despite me misusing them so horribly. They're pretty close. They're not quite there yet. They might actually end up routing before I get there, but yeah, the balance of power is so fraudulently close right now, I feel like. Blazing Beards still have quite a bit left on the field, and when I actually stop and look at it, Falcon's army is extremely tattered. He's got just a few kind of very low health units in here. If I had enough magic for big final transmutation in this last blob, I could maybe finish it off, but Elithnar is also still very healthy, and he's about to finish sniping Gortys. Gortys comes back from route briefly. I definitely do not notice him. As you can see, I'm prioritizing micro in other places, just calling down that Searing Doom. Oh no, Gortys gets shot in the back by Elithnar. Probably deserved it. In fact, 100% deserved it. But this leaves only the Beards left. As, I mean, the Demon Smith's technically still fighting, but at this point, the Bull Centaurs, which I didn't deserve because I didn't use them, well, they're going to get routed off, and it'll just come down to the Demon Smith in the late game. Another little Searing Doom just to spitefully try and kill off the Dragon Princes. But that's going to be it. It was pretty close, honestly. I feel like if with the same build, if I hadn't made the mistakes I did, I probably could have won at the end of the day. It would have been tough. But Falcon's certainly a very strong opponent, so credit to him for playing it well. But yeah, we both agreed, him and I, after the fact, that I probably could have won if I hadn't made so many mistakes, but it is what it is. Yeah, the Bull Centaur ROR still almost ends up paying for itself despite me mismicroing it so badly. The Blazing Beards also do a really nice job as well. The Light Cavalry was definitely the biggest letdown for me. Jatan also did not pay for himself. I could have used it better, but I just don't know, love him, to be honest, even on the Lamasu. It's just tricky. I don't feel like I love any of Chaos Dwarf's Lord choices in this particular matchup. I'd have to kind of workshop a little bit and see, but probably the Sorcerer Prophet actually on the Lamasu would be the one I would end up going for. But hard to say. Remains to be seen. Got to play this matchup some more in the future and see how things develop. Gortys does pay for himself. I mean, he only costs 500 on his wolf with no items or abilities, so cost effective. Certainly hard to argue against bringing him with that particular kit. Also, 500 value on some Orc Laborers is just fantastic. Yeah, the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. One of them ends up paying for itself. Not quite. Pretty close, but, I mean, just the pressure was enough, I guess, psychologically to bring me in. Really, the Lothern Seaguard were the main kind of downfall. Bierman also getting some really nice value, and then Elithnar, I expected him to have some more, actually, but I guess he was tied up quite a bit of time just fighting. And not too much value on the final transmutations either, which is pretty interesting. So, be an interesting matchup, I think. They did change some stuff for the High Elves. I'll just go over that quickly in order to kind of address this matchup specifically. Stuff that I had noticed for the High Elves is that the dragons no longer have fire damage on their melee attacks. Their breath attacks still deal fire damage, which is definitely important to note, but they no longer have fire damage on their melee attacks. Units with fire resistance. Oh, is Alistair available for real now? If I throw on unit caps, is he... Oh yeah, he's locked out. Okay, that's what I thought. Anyway, Tyrion. So Tyrion's got very heavy fire resistance, as I mentioned. 40% makes him probably the best pick in this particular matchup. I don't believe... Imric does have fire resistance as well. It's only 25%, and he does retain it on the dragon, which is pretty huge. But yeah, he's still very expensive, and armor-piercing shooting in the Chaos Dwarfs could punish him very heavily, so it's risky, I would think, to take him on the dragon. But he's definitely another pretty strong pick, just based on the fire resistance. And then, I don't know if any of the other lords or heroes do, but there's that. And then obviously the dragon princes as well. Phoenixes are an interesting case because they have 40% fire resistance themselves, but also deal fire damage, both the base Flamespire and the Arcane Phoenix both. Arcane Phoenix in particular, 40% fire, 20% physical, means it's 60% resistant to, like, for example, the shooting of these fire glaives or the hobgoblin archers. The blunderbusses do not have fire damage on that shooting attacks. I think I was mistaken and maybe caught that out before, but in general, it might be useful, even, you know, despite the fact you're getting a 15% damage nerf on all the actual Chaos Dwarf units. I mean, it's still terror against all the Hobgoblin units and characters. You're still getting full damage. And against Bull Centaurs, same thing, right? Oh no, they actually do have the fire resistance as well. But I mean, it's only 15%. It's not, especially for the Arcane Phoenix's extra weapon strength, it's not that much. But anyway, enough theory crafting. That's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.